morning. Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations with the last week of the completion of this beautiful table runner from the Fort Worth Fabric Studios. Glow and Behold, that's what the name of it is. I guess everybody's been waiting all week. Actually, I've been waiting for this day since last week when I finished that last block. Then I was ready to put it together. So today we're going to go ahead and put it together. It won't take long at all. Then you can quilt it up and have it on the table if you like. Now I got a little bit of raspy going on because I haven't had enough coffee, but I wanted to get up here and get this taken care of because I have Sherry coming over later. Okay, and for some reason, I've been blowing my nose on-stop, and I think it's because it's extra cold outside this morning, although it's not cold in here, but I have to go in and out taking Bandit to the restroom. He's already been out twice this morning, and it's not even 7 o'clock. There you go. It's just what you do when you got a couple of pets or two. All right, let's get started putting this together. You should only have 2 fabrics and your binding. So you'll have this color here. You'll have 2 different cuts. This is the one that we're going to put it together with. And then this is the longer one. And I also have the little piece on here. And that, and then your binding. Here's the 2 strips that you're going to have that your paperwork says you're going to have 6 2 by 12.5. That's 6 of these here. This is J, the color J, whatever you've marked on your paper for J if you're not following with these colors. K is 2 of them that are 2.5 by 15.5. And then your extra pieces are those over there because you have extras and it says and remaining strips. So that's what I have set aside. Now I went ahead on my ironing board and I have laid down my fabric just like this. I put a sunflower, a block, a sunflower, a star, I should say, and a sunflower. And we're going to grab this one first. And we're going to put on each side the fabric for letter J, which is the polka dotted. If you're not using polka dot, whatever you've decided to use for the brown with the polka dots, that's what you want to put on each side. We're going to put them on each side. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll attach this one. And that's what we're doing. We're going to put this together. So we're going to take the right sides to the right sides. And I'm going to pin on this side to keep myself from losing my points, which I will mark. On one side, I had to open this up because I've got it folded towards me. So to open it to mark it, I opened it up, put my pin above the cross, put my mark, flipped it back over, and then finished marking it. The other sides are all open. Now that's my piece of fabric. That doesn't necessarily mean it's your piece of fabric. And you know me, I like to pin. 1/2 inch length. And as you know, I'm using yellow thread for this project. This is cotton thread. Ooh, my foot pedal is cold today. I go barefoot. I don't have any socks on. A little bit of a shock on my toes there. And we're just going to sew it all the way down on both sides. Doesn't make any difference which sides you choose. I re-ironed mine before I started so I could get it nice and straight. Y'all can do the same thing. You can re-iron yours as many times as you want. I wouldn't constantly starch it, but I would just... Everybody looking forward to Halloween? I think we're going to be giving out candy. My daughter's going to come over. We're going to do it on the front porch. Hopefully it's not rainy. Never can tell with this crazy weather we have had. Lord knows we're not dry for this winter. There we go. Now we'll flip it and do the other side. Okay, let's do this side here. Now remember, when you go over all these tips, if you want to use a bigger stitch, just in case you got to take it out, you can do that. If you wanted to base stitch this entire thing, you could do it and then just turn around and resew it. You can also mark your entire 1/4 inch seam if you want to do that too. I used to do that at the very beginning when I made mine. Nowadays, people don't learn by, or at least not that I'm aware of, by hand sewing, but that's how I learned. The very first quilt I ever made, which was a baby quilt, I went to a shop and it was all by hand. Nothing was done on the machine at all. The very first one should look like that. Don't panic if these aren't in the right place. Don't worry about that, because this is yours and you can turn it any way you want. All right, let's backtrack and do a little marking here in case you don't know how. Well, here's the seam right here. That's my sewing line right there. Where these cross, we're going to go above it with our pin, and then you're going to make a mark both sides, because that's your sewing line. Oh, I got a bit of my ink didn't come out all the way. There we go. Just like that. It looks like it's off, but it's not. It's right there. Hold that down. Okay? I got like a whole bunch of fuzzy right there, but let's open that up a little bit and show you. There's our mark right here, which goes across that right there. Okay, so anyway, and you'll come straight across it anyway with your needle. That's how I've marked them. Now, to put the sunflower, which this has more places to mark, there's 3, and on the other side there's 3. No matter what side you're using, there's 3. All right, so I'm going to put my 2 pieces of, I'm not sure, here's 3 places we're going to mark. 1, 2, 3. No matter what side you're doing, it's 3. So I'm going to put the 2 pieces on this instead of the star. I'll attach this to my star. All right, let's do that. And how do you do that, you say? So it's going to be folded over like this. You flip it over, find your point where the 2 cross over, which is right here on mine. I'm going to go out a little bit. Fold this back over and just go from the spot you did here like that, and there's your mark, because you're going to come sew it straight over the top of that. And that's how you do them all. I went ahead and I pinned all of these, the ones with the sunflower seeds. Went ahead and pinned them, so that's 2 sides on each block. Marked them all, pinned them, because they're going to be easier to do all of those ahead of time before we put the stars on. Well, I haven't watched any Halloween movies yet. Getting a little late there. I've watched a couple of Christmas programs on Prime that I hadn't seen. Like one of them was Becoming Santa. I can't even remember what some of the other ones were. Be careful when you go over these pretty good sized bumps, because it's extra fabric. Just take your time when you go across it. But if you got to help with your flywheel, then do that. If your needle won't go through your fabric for you. Don't forget every now and then to change your needle. I know that a lot of people say change it every time you change, or not change, but every time you do a new project, they want you to change your needle. My opinion is that's capitalism to get you to buy more, but hey, don't go with what I say, go with what you feel. When I first started out, before they started saying that, with sewing, I just used it until my needle either bent because I hit something, or it started sticking in my fabric, which meant it got a burr on it somehow, or it literally just broke. I can't remember if I just said my pin or my needle, but I was talking about my needle. As far as my pins go, as soon as they get curved from pushing into the fabric, like I pushed it into a piece of fabric that was too thick, maybe multiple fabrics. And if that's the case, then that's when I get rid of them. Or I have gotten rid of some of them that were dull, or they, like every now and then you get one in a package that's bigger than all the rest. So I think that's just a little bit of a fluke, where not bigger meaning thicker, so it doesn't go through the thread. There's been some that I've had that have been like that before. And I have hit many a pins, believe me, accidentally. and it happens. But I have a lot of different pin cushions with a lot of different size pins also. It's like I get in the mood sometimes for a specific pin, and then I change it, and then I want some other kind of pin. I've got a little set over here on another pin cushion that are actually just a little bit shorter than these pins are. And I like to use those every now and then. But then I've got some that are even longer. So it just depends on my project of what I want to use. Go ahead and finish sewing your last, if you're following along the way that I'm doing it, your last sunflower. That's what this is. And once I get these two done, then I'm going to put my star on it and mark it first. Kind of odd, my camera shut off. Thank goodness it makes a noise when it turns on. Alrighty, so I got an extra pin up here because it's not wanting to cooperate. That's another reason for multiple pins. It just, for some reason, the fabric underneath doesn't want to line up correctly, and I'm not quite sure why. So I just put an extra pin in there. There we go. I'm just going to grab this in because that's just a little bit bulky there. There we go. Oops, I just stuck myself on the other pin. Stop here. And I'm actually ironing these as I go along, and I've re-ironed some of these so you all can do the same. Now this is my last actual square, but it's not the very last block because the last one is going to be the sunflower. You want to go ahead and finish these up. I'm going to put the outer edge on it. I didn't put my pin far enough back. There we go. I didn't want that to flip over on itself. Let's put another one right there. I've got a lot of scraggly threads coming off of mine also. I've got all this laying in front of that camera tripod right there. Whew, what a throat today. And now I'm going to sew my last sunflower seed square on here. I'm going to make the sashing, I'm calling it sashing. It's the part that goes to at the top and the bottom of our row of blocks. And you probably can't see, but I got a little bit of the fabric showing there. You already know it's overlapping there. So I pinned it this direction so I could lay my ruler here to mark between the end on the right and the end of the fabric on the left, and that is going to be our sewing line. I took the pin out of, first I repinned it across like that, took this pin out, and now I'm going to sew it. And if you want to change your thread to brown, you can, or white, or any other color that you want to. I'm going to go ahead and knock my stitch down to 2 inches for this, 2.0. And I'm going to connect all of my pieces like this in this project. So as soon as I'm done with this one, I'll go ahead and do the other two. And I want to make sure this doesn't move, so I'm going to go further down with my pin. So when I take this one out, it doesn't shift on me, because it has been known to happen, especially with me. And I can't make the jump in the pin, so let's, there we go. And there we have it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go 1/4 inch and cut your fabric off and then we're going to iron it over. Here is our seam. Let me get closer for you. That's it right there, ironed down. See, you can hardly see it when you get away from it far. Looks like it's continuous. So I've got one entire side pinned. I left a little bit hanging off the end there. I didn't put it end to end with the pink. I don't know where the heck I got pink from. With the polka dotted brown fabric. It's got a smidgen hanging over there. And I've only pinned the one side. It's already sticking me on my lap here. I can't get away from it sticking me, I tell you. Let's make sure that that's like that, okay. And I marked it as I pinned it. Just take your time. All right, that takes care of one entire side with the pink. I don't know why I keep saying pink, because I'm thinking polka dot. So there's the P, the brown polka dot. Okay, so you're probably thinking, now that I've done that, now I haven't ironed it yet. All I did was prepped my other sheet. So I sewed the long strip here together. I've laid it down here on the corner. This is the one that's done. Let me show you. This is the one that's sewn on. I'm laying it out, and I'm going to literally lay it all the way across the whole entire thing. Now, I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to pin it so that when I pin my other side, I get the exact same length so that this doesn't end up wavy because I've put too much fabric on it. So let me pin it, and then I'm going to show you what I'm actually doing, okay? Hold on one second. I just can't do it and hold the camera too. Here's the difference between the two, and I noticed that when I put the two together, the second set together, I didn't use as much hanging off, so that is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and start pinning. I went ahead and cut off the end here. Let's take this out so you can see it. The two pieces here and here. I got a little bit left over. I'm going to take all the pins out that I've pinned in here and then just pin it together. Pin this to the other side and then sew it. You guys do the same thing. Get that one pinned, then you can go ahead and sew it. Now when you get to, when you're pinning it, if it falls off my table here, but as you're pinning, what I would do is this is the easiest way to do it. I didn't even think about explaining it or anything. Take your polka dot, fold it in half, put a little crease in it, take your table runner and fold it in half, put a little crease in it, then pin it. So pin the creased strip to the creased table runner, and then pin from whatever right-handed or left-handed you are. I start on the left always. Go from the left up to the pin and stop. Then go from the pin to the end and stop, and it will fit on there. If you just start on the one side and go all the way to the end, it could be off. I'm not saying it will be, I'm just saying that it could be. So to avoid that, that's what you would want to do, is pin, like mark it in half and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew this end. You guys go ahead and sew your end, and then we're going to meet back here, because now the next strip that goes on there, which is the final strip before you do any kind of quilting, does not need to be marked. Now, of course, you've got to sew the two ends together like we did before when we sewed our strips, because the one strip's not going to be enough. But there's no actual pinning, because there's nothing to be aware of that you're going to go over and lose a tip or something, since you're just actually sewing fabric to fabric. All right, you guys keep on going. Right, so I have pinned these strips. These are the last two strips you have, the short strips, which are the orange color. I've pinned them, and now I'm going to sew each end, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start the last thing to do before you quilt. I went ahead and I made sure that these two strips were identical sizes, so I cut them off on each end to make sure that they were correct. And what I did was I started pinning it, so I've got it started to pin. I don't have it the whole thing pinned. I've just pinned this little section right here, and I'm going to sort of like pin as you go if I need to, but I feel like I need to say no pins and needles were harmed making this video, which meant I didn't bend or break any of them. Of course, I don't normally bend them. Usually that's from pinning thicker fabric. This is just two pieces of fabric together. Okay, so just lay it out. I did iron it, so it's nice and straight. Just put it on there like that. Hold on to it, and then just sew. Oh, my bobbin's almost empty. Of course it is. Let's hope I have another bobbin around here, but we'll check in a minute. Let me change that out. Like I was saying, I am just holding on to the fabric, and I'm not pinning it. If you want to pin it, you can pin it. In a way, I feel like this is going to go a little bit faster, but I think my hand's going to be in the way. I just hold a piece at a time. When I get to the end of it, just grab it, put it back on there, get it situated, put my hands on it, and then go. Both sides like this, and then I'll be back and we'll be finished with it. I'll put the iron to it one more time. When it comes to cut off the excess here, take your ruler, line it up like that, and what I do is line it up against the line here. And then, of course, my hand's going to be in the way, so let me see if I can angle this. Just like that. And there you go. And now we'll take this and we'll iron it open. I'm going to make it go this way because that's the way it wants to go, but I'll take it like this. Push my iron this direction as I iron it. Well, I don't have any extra arms to hold it, and of course it's bigger than my table, so I'll also show you 3.5 of the squares out of the 4. So this is what it looks like when it's all finished. I've ironed it multiple times, and I have pulled off more threads than you can shake a stick at, because I have actually even shook it, you know, like you would your sheet or something. And every time I do, just more threads come off. So it turned out beautiful. I am so happy that Fort Worth Fabric Studio does these kind of videos and kits so that everybody that's new or already been sewing can learn how to sew or do practicing or get back into it. But that's the way it turned out for mine. And I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I really do love the way that block right there came out. We don't do that as often as we do the stars. The stars we do for quite a lot of blocks, different ways, but not too many times do we get the sunflower seed. So give me a thumbs up, make a comment if you would like, and I will see you for the next video that they're going to have, because of course they're going to have another one. And take care, everybody, and thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.